Shalom, Yasha Allah. His brother Mapathat. That'd be key, but in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. And this is going to be a quick video going into the kingdom of heaven, man. Right? We're going to go into the kingdom of heaven. Something we should be constantly meditating on. Right? Something we should always have dwelling within our minds, man. Dwelling within our heart. Right? The kingdom of heaven, man. Right? The Lord said this. Right before we go into it, Salakia. That was a spirit. I don't have this written down. But I want to bring this out. But before we go into the words of the Lord, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. That's all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, whose name is Yahweh, and the name of his only begotten Son, who the world would ignorantly call Jesus Christ, but we know him as Yahushai in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, man. Right? So we should always be meditating on the kingdom of heaven. That's where our heart should be, man. That's where our treasure lies, in the kingdom of heaven. Right? So I want to bring this out in Matthew 6. Right? And in verse 33. And this is red letter. This is our King, our Lord and Savior, Yahushai, speaking. Right? So this is Matthew 6 and 33. It says, but seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High, and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. That's what we should be seeking after. The kingdom of the Most High, man. You understand? The kingdom of the Most High. Right? And everything that we our heart desires, right, is going to be added unto us, man. As long as we seek in the kingdom. The kingdom should always be on our mind. You understand? Right? So I want to bring this out in Matthew 13 and verse 44. Right, so I got a couple precepts written down that we're going to go into. Lord willing, this is edifying unto the elect. Right? So this is a red letter as well. This is Matthew 13 and verse 44. And it says, again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a treasure hid in a field, the which when a man hath found, he hideth, and for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he hath and buyeth that field. And that's what the kingdom of heaven is, man. We have to be willing to give everything up for the kingdom of heaven, man. Right? You kind of, it's likened to a treasure that's found in the field. And when a man kind of hides that treasure and then he goes and buy that field, man. Right? He selleth everything he has to buy that field. You have to be willing to give up everything for the kingdom of heaven, man. Right? And then let's read on. It says, again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, who when he had found one pearl of a great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. So it's likened unto a merchant man, right, looking for goodly pearls. And when he find that one beautiful pearl, right, meaning the kingdom of heaven, and he sold all that he had just to buy that pearl, man. Right? That's how we should feel about the kingdom. We should be willing to give up all of our fleshly desires, all the desires that we have in this world. Brothers want to be a damn rapper, right? Sisters want to be a damn singer, right? A damn rapper too nowadays, right? Sisters want to be a damn whatever it may be, man, right? Hey, man, you got to be willing to give up all these things to get the kingdom of heaven, man, right? To spend every day being a minister unto the saints of Yahushai, man, right? To the saints of the Most High God in Yahushai, right? To be a minister unto the church, to be a minister unto the body of Yahushai, man, right? And that's what we are in this truth. We're servants of the Lord, right? And being servants of the Lord, you're servants to the church. You understand? When you think about Paul, when you think about Yahushua, when you think about the apostles, the Lord ordained these men. He didn't ordain them to kind of sit around like this and tell everybody else what to do. You go do this. I need a cup of water. I was ordained by Yahushua, right? You go and do this. Hey, that's not what was going on, man. Right? The Lord set up these men, but yet they were ministering into the church, man. They were the servants. They were ordained to be servants to the rest of the people. You understand? Right? That's why they were prophesying. That's why they were constantly doing the work of the Lord day in and day out, man. Right? And they wanted the kingdom of heaven, man. You understand? So let's bring this out. Right? So this is something we have to meditate on. How is the kingdom of heaven going to be, man? Right? How are we going to live in the kingdom of heaven? A lot of brothers, when they think of the kingdom of heaven, all they think of, I'm going to have Edomite slaves. I'm going to have 10,000 Edomite concubines. Right? And I'm going to have a rod in my hand, and I'm going to whip Esau. Right? And that comes with it. Right? You're going to have beautiful wives. Right? You're going to have servants, you understand, of the other nations. Right? That is a beautiful part of the kingdom of heaven, but that's not all the kingdom of heaven is about, man. You understand? So let's bring this out. Isaiah 65 and verse 17. Right? And this is something we should be meditating on, these scriptures, man. Because this is what we're laboring for, man. We all want the kingdom of heaven. We're all laboring for that same penny. And that penny is the kingdom of heaven. Right? So this is Isaiah chapter 65 and verse 17. And it reads, For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, right? And the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. When the Lord is speaking about a new heavens and a new earth, he's speaking about new rulership. The Lord is not going to tear down the skies that you see right now and the third heaven where the Most High God dwells and create a whole new one. That's not what the Lord is speaking about. You understand? He's speaking about new rulership, because now Jacob is going to be in rulership. You understand? Israel is going to rule the world, and Esau is going to be taken down. Let me get that quick precept real fast. All right. Let's get this in 2nd Esdras Classic, chapter 6 and verse 9, and it reads, "For Esau is the end of the world," meaning Esau's kingdom is the end of the world, right? So at the end of the world, we understand that Esau is going to be in power. And that's what we see right now. That's how we know we're living in the end, right? Esau is in power. Esau is the end of the world, right? Esau being a so-called white man. It says, "And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth," right? And we're the beginning of it that followeth. We're that new heaven, right? We're the new new rulership. That heaven have that Salakia. Heaven is going into rulership. You understand? So that's what it means when it said there will be a new heaven and a new earth, right? And real fast, Salakia, bear with me. I'm gonna just read on, right? I'm gonna just read on Salakia, right? So it says, verse 18, "But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying." So we're not going to weep anymore in that day, right? We're not going to cry anymore in that day. We're going to be at perfect peace, man, right? How beautiful is that, right? Our people are constantly dying in the streets. Our people are in poverty, right? We constantly have to walk around and see our people begging for change. Our people digging in garbage cans trying to make a way, man, right? Trying to get food to eat, man, right? A lot of our elders are scraping up chains, trying to smoke crack, man, right? Our sisters is constantly shaking they right? They behind on social media all day, man, right? Every time I scroll up and down social media, I see the precious daughters of Zion with their behind to the camera, man, right? Seeking attention, man, right? The brothers shooting each other in the streets, man. You understand? Right? But we're not going to be rejoicing in that day. I mean, Salakia, we're not going to be in distress in that day, right? We're not going to be in a lower state in that day, right? When the Lord comes together and gather his elect, and we're back in our kingdom, we're back in Jerusalem, right? We're the rulers of this world. We're not going to be in sorrow anymore, man. Right? The Lord is going to wipe away our tears, man. Right? And we're going to live peaceably, man. Right? That's what the kingdom of heaven. That's the joy of the kingdom of heaven, man. Right? Beautiful, man. Right? And we're all laboring for the kingdom, man. Right? And it says, verse 20, "There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that have not filled his days, for the child shall die 100 years." Right? Meaning we're no more going to die at young ages. You understand? You're not going to see a young brother getting shot in his head and killed at 16 years old, man. We're going to live forever in the kingdom of heaven. You understand? Right? You're not going to hear about a damn baby being aborted as a damn fetus, man. Right? You're not going to hear about sisters letting the damn so-called white man kind of do surgery and kill a baby, man. You understand? It's not going to be in the kingdom of heaven, man. We're going to live forever. Right, let me get that real fast. In Revelation 21. Right? And I'm going to read on in Isaiah 65. So this is Revelation 21, and I'm going to read from the top. And it reads, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea." Right? And the sea is speaking about the nations. And it says, "And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High." Salakia, "coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband." And what John seen was the elect coming back down with Yahushua and the angels after they were beamed up and saved from the destruction of Babylon. Right? And it says, "And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them." Salakia. "And his people, and the Most High shall be with them and be their God." Right? In verse 4. It says, "And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes," meaning he's going to wipe away all the distress, all the sorrow, all the wickedness and things that we went through on this side, man, in this damn wicked kingdom. Right? We're not going to remember all of the damn trauma, right? Brothers got PTSD. Brothers went through a lot of things on this side, man. But in the kingdom of heaven, right, when we're back and gathered together with Yahushua and the angels, we're not going to remember any more of our misery, man, right? I'm gonna get a real quick precept, right? So like, let me read on this. It says, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain. And you're not going to feel pain in the kingdom of heaven, right? And it says, for the former things are passed away, man, right? So it's going to be no more death, no more sorrow, right? Let me read that again from the top. I think I skipped the part. It says, and the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death. I wanted to make sure I get that part, right? It's going to be no more death in the kingdom of heaven, right? And it says, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away, man. How beautiful is that, man? No more death, no more sorrow, no more crying, no more pain, man. Right? And what's the precept? I wanted to bring this out in Psalms 126. Right? So this Psalms to the 126 in verse 1, and it reads, when the Lord turned again the captivity of Zion, we were like them that dream, man. And when in a day when the Lord turned away our captivity and we're back in our kingdom, right? We're the rulers of the world, and we're gonna be like those that dream, man. It's gonna feel like a dream, man. It's gonna feel like, it's gonna feel like this life was just a dream, man. And now we're back gathered together with our God, man. Right? We're back gathered together with Yahushua, man. Right? And we're the rulers of this earth, man. Right? And that's beautiful, man. We're not gonna be amongst the damn heathen. You understand? The heathen are going to be our servants. Right? So it says, when the Lord turned again the captivity of Zion, we were like them that dream. Then was our mouth filled with laughter. And our mouth is going to be filled with laughter. Not damn complaints, man. Damn, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay my bills tomorrow. Right? Damn, mothers crying. My son just got killed yesterday. Damn, mothers posting on Facebook. I don't know where my son is. My son has been lost for 5 months. Right? He was damn grabbed up by some damn nasty white man, man. And thrown in a nasty van, man. You understand? Our people are not going to have to worry about that anymore. Right? And it says, then was our mouth filled with laughter, and our tongue with singing. Then said they among the heathen, the Lord have done great things for them. And the heathen is going to be like, man, the Lord done great things for these people, man. Right? So I want to go back to Isaiah 65. And I want to read verse 21. It says, and they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit thereof. And we're going to plant and be able to eat the fruit of our vineyards. Like right now, Shalakia, we plant the vineyards of the so-called white men, right? Through labor, right? And they eat the fruit of it. You understand? Right? A lot of our Issacharite brothers, they do construction. They built up America. You understand? Really, all of us Israelites as a whole, but I just say Issachar because it's a majority. A lot of them, they did a lot of the building of these big towers and buildings and things of that matter. You understand? But the so-called white man ate the fruit thereof. The so-called white man dwells within them. You understand? But in that day, we're going to build our own and we're going to dwell in it. Right? And it says, verse 22, that's the spirit. It says, they shall not build and another inhabit. Right? So we're not going to build somebody else's kingdom in that day. We're going to be building everything that we build is going to be for us, man. Everything that we plant is going to be for our well-being, for us to eat, for us to dwell in. You understand? It says they shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat, right? And we're not going to plant for another person to eat of our fruit, the fruit of our labor. And it says, for as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. And the elect in that day, we're going to enjoy the work of our hands. Lord willing, we're part of that number, man. Brothers going to enjoy the work of their hands, man. They're going to enjoy the fruits of their labors. You understand? And it says, they shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble. For they are the seed of the blessed of the Lord, and their offspring with them. You see that? And it says, and it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer. And while they are yet speaking, I will hear. And we're not going to really have to be praying constantly because we don't know. Oh, I don't know if the Lord heard that prayer, right? Maybe Satan deflected it, right? Or maybe I had iniquity in my hands and the Lord didn't hear that prayer. And that day, the Lord is going to hear us, man. We're going to make our supplication before the Lord, and the Lord is going to hear us, man. Right? And it says, verse 25, the wolf and the lamb shall feed together, right? So the wolf and the lamb is going to eat together, right? So that means beast is not going to eat beast, man. You're not going to see a lion damn attacking a lamb. You're not going to see a lion killing a damn deer, man. Right? They're going to all dwell together peacefully. There's going to be peace in the kingdom of heaven. And it says, I'm going to read it again from the top. It says, The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock. And the lion, like I just said, the lion is not going to eat other animals. It's not going to, it's going to eat straw just like the bullock, man. It's going to eat grass. It's going to be a herbivore, right? And it says, and dust shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in my holy mountain, said the Lord. And the serpent is not going to be hurting man, right? The serpent is not going to be hurting other animals as well, man. The snake is going to just be damn doing its thing, man. You understand? That's the beauty of the kingdom of heaven, right? Everything is going to be at peace in the kingdom of heaven. Good Jeremiah 30 and verse 17, right? So these are the things that we should meditate on, right? Don't just meditate on, damn, having a rod in your hand and damn, he hitting Esau in the back of the head, man, right? That's not all you should meditate on when you think about the kingdom of heaven. You damn hitting Esau in the back of the head with a damn rod, man, right? That's what a lot of brothers think the kingdom of heaven is. I'm going to have a rod and I'm going to hit Esau. Esau is going to be my slave. That's all they know about the kingdom of heaven, man. But the kingdom of heaven is more beautiful than that, right? It's more to it than that, right? And don't get me wrong, that's a beautiful thing as well. Having servants, right? Having slaves, right? But we have to understand, it's more to the kingdom of heaven than just having the so-called white men as our slaves, right? So this Jeremiah to the 30 verse 17, and it reads, "For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds," right? So like we read about in Isaiah 65, the Lord is going to heal us. The Lord is going to wipe away the tears from our eyes, right? It's going to be no more sorrow, no more death, no more pain, right? It says that the Lord, because they called thee an outcast. And that's what the world calls us. That's what society calls us. They call us niggas, you understand? They say we ain't nothing, man, right? They call us minorities. We're the outcasts of this world, man, right? It says, saying, "This is Zion, who no man seeketh after." And no man really cares about Zion. No man cares about the Israelites, man. Right? We were taken into captivity, and we're still in the land of our captivity to this day. And nobody really cares. Nobody try to deliver us. Nobody try to take us back to Israel. You understand? Let me get this real fast. We're gonna go back to this. This is Jeremiah 15 and verse 5, and it reads, "For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem?" Nobody have pity on Jerusalem, man. Right? Nobody have pity on Yashala. And it says, "Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside and ask thee how thou doest?" So nobody asks us how we doing, man. Right? So, hey, we just waiting on the Lord, man. We don't really need any of these nations to bemoan us, man. Right? But we going back to Jeremiah 30. And it reads, it says, "For I will restore health unto thee." And I'm going to read 17 from the top again. It says, "For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds," said the Lord, because they called thee an outcast, saying, "This is Zion, who no man seeketh after." Right? And we're outcasts in this thing, man. Right? In verse 18, it says, "Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places, and the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof." Right? And Salakia, reading on. It says, "And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving, and the voice of them that make merry." And we're going to make merry in that day, like we read about in Psalm 1 verse 26. It's going to be like we're going to be like those that dream, and we're going to be full of laughter. We're going to be singing the song of Moses, right? And it says the song of deliverance, right? But it says, "And I will multiply them, and they shall not be few." And we're going to be really fruitful in the kingdom of heaven, right? We're going to have a bunch of children in the kingdom of heaven, right? And it says, "And I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small." Right? And the Lord is going to glorify us in that day, man. We're not going to be a small people. We're going to be the greatest people on the face of the earth. And it says, and that's why the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a mustard seed, man. Right? Because we had small beginnings, right? We likened it to a mustard seed that grew into a great tree, right? Pursuing the Matthew chapter 13, right? Because we had small beginnings. We were despised among men. Right? We were the least of all nations. But in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to be the greatest. And we're going to be glorified. Right? And it says, "And they shall not be small. Their children also..." Salakia. It says, "Their children also shall be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me. I will punish all that oppress them." And all that oppressed us, meaning all the nations around the whole world, man. The Lord is going to punish them. Right? And their punishment is going to be being in captivity into us. Being our servants. You understand? Let me get that real fast to show you, right? Because the Lord said all that oppressed them, right? And we're going to show this real fast. Let's see who oppressed us. This first Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 8, and it reads, her temple has become as a man without glory, right? And we represent the temple in the spirit, right? Us being Yasha'Allah, being Israel. It says her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets. Her young men with the sword of the enemy, right? This is the point, verse 10. What nation have not a part, Salakia? What nation have not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? So what nation have not have a part of our kingdom and gotten of our spoils? Right? The Lord said all these different nations had a part of this, man. Right? So all these different nations oppressed us, man. Right? So I'm going to read that again. It says, Jeremiah 30 and 20. Their children also should be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress them. So all these different nations are going to be punished by the Lord in that day. Right? And it says, and their nobles shall be of themselves, and our nobles, our princes, our kings, our government is going to be of ourselves. Right? Meaning the 144,000. The elect men are going to be of Israel. Right? The rulers of the kingdom of heaven, man. Being under Yahweh Shai, also under Salakia, the 12 apostles. Right? And it says, and their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governor shall proceed from the midst of them. Right? And our governor is going to be Yahweh Shai. Right? Our king is going to be Yahweh Shai. And it says, and I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. Right? For who is this that engages his heart to approach unto me, said the Lord? And ye shall be my people, and I will be your God, man. Right? So we're going to have our own police officers, man. We're going to have our own princes, our own kings, our own judges, man, in that day. We're not going to have to go to the so-called white man and judge a matter. We're not going to have to go to a damn so-called white man to receive whatever it may be, man. Right? In this captivity, you have to go to the so-called white man to get a damn death certificate, man. A damn birth certificate, man. To get a damn marriage license, man. Right? You have to go to the so-called white man to get a passport to go to a different country. You understand? But in the kingdom of heaven, we're not going to the so-called white man for anything. These different nations are going to come to us, man. Right? And we're going to go into that later as well. But let me get this real fast in Daniel 7. Right? Because like I said, Yahweh Shai is going to be our king. Right? And our the elect are going to be the head of the government in the kingdom of heaven. Let's get this in Daniel 7. In verse 13. Going to see Yahweh Shai. Right? So this is Daniel 7 and verse 13. And it reads, I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. It's speaking about Yahweh Shai. And it says, and there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages shall serve him. You see that? And Yahweh Shai is going to be given dominion. Yahweh Shai is going to be given glory in that day. And that's why Yahweh Shai, also going into that period, that parable dealing with the mustard seed, it's also going into Yahweh Shai on another fold. You understand? Because Yahweh Shai was despised. Yahweh Shai walked this earth and was despised among men. You understand? But Yahweh Shai is going to be the greatest man in that day. He's going to be glorified above all in that day. Every knee shall bow unto Yahweh Shai in that day. So he started off as that mustard seed and grew to be a beautiful tree as well. Right? So it says, I'm going to read verse 13 again. It says, I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages shall serve him. Right? So all nations, all people, right, is going to serve Yahweh Shai in that day. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, and it's an everlasting dominion. His kingdom is never going to be taken away. How beautiful is that, man? Right? You speak, hey, Yahweh Shai's kingdom is going to be everlasting. That's something that's hard to fathom, man. Right? Because we've seen all great nations fall, but Yahweh Shai's kingdom in that day is never going to fall. We're going to have an everlasting kingdom, man. That's so beautiful, man. That's so mighty, and that's what we strive for. That's what we should be willing to give up everything in this life for, man. You understand? Right? That's what we should have on our mind all day, every day, man. Right? It's beautiful, man. It says, what shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. His kingdom is never going to be destroyed, man. Nobody going to be able to take away Yahweh Shai's kingdom from him, man. Right? And like we was going into, I want to get this precept real fast. So it's going to be everlasting dominion, everlasting kingdom, and we're going to live forever in the kingdom of heaven. Like we read about in Revelation 21 and verse 4, there's going to be no death, no sorrow in the kingdom of heaven. Right? And I'm going to bring this out in Isaiah 25 and verse 8. And it reads, he will swallow up death and victory, right? Because death is going to be swallowed up in that day, right? It's going to be no more death. And the Lord God will wipe away tears from all the faces, and the rebuke of his people shall he take away from all the earth. for the Lord hath spoken it, man. Right? So there's going to be no more death. Death is going to be destroyed in victory. Why is death going to be destroyed? Because we're going to have the law in our inward parts, right? And what brings forth death? Sin. So if we're not sinning anymore in the kingdom of heaven, we're not going to die anymore, man. Because that's the only reason why we die on this side, because we sin, right? Because we read about that in Romans chapter 6 and verse 23. The wages of sin is death, man, right? So that's why we die, because we sin. But in the kingdom of heaven, we're not going to sin anymore, man, right? So let's bring this out in Jeremiah 31 and verse 31, right? So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31 and verse 31, and it reads, Behold, the days come, said the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Right? Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, said the Lord. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said the Lord. I will put my law in their inward parts. You see that? The Lord is going to put the law in our inward parts. So we're not going to break the law. It's going to be in our hearts. You understand? It's not going to be, we're not going to be incorruptible bodies anymore. We're going to be in incorruptible bodies. Let me get that real fast. That's the only reason why we sin now, because we're in these carnal corruptible bodies. Right? So this 1 Corinthians 15. And I'm going to start from Salakia. This whole thing is good. I'm going to start from 50. It says, Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of heaven. Right? The kingdom of the Most High, Salakia. Right? So these carnal bodies, flesh and blood, cannot inherit the kingdom of the Most High. Neither do of corruption inherit incorruption. Right? Because in the kingdom of heaven is we're going to be incorruptible. You understand? Right? So a corruptible body can't inherit incorruption. It doesn't make sense. Right? And it says, Behold, I show you a mystery. We should not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed, right? We're going to be raised incorruptible, and we're going to be changed, meaning we're going to be given incorruptible and new bodies. It says, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, Salakia, verse 53, for this corruptible must put on incorruptible, and this mortal must put on immortality, right? And that new body that's we're going to be given when the Lord returns is going to be immortal. They're going to be immortal, meaning we're not going to die. They're not going to be able to see death, right? So that's all I wanted on that. And I want to read on in Jeremiah 31, right? So verse 34, it says, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor. Why won't we have to teach anymore? Why won't we have to teach our neighbor anymore? Salaki, our neighbor anymore. It's because we're going to have the law in our inward parts. In the kingdom of heaven, we're going to know the law like the back of our hand, because it's going to be in our hearts, right? And it says, and every man his brother saying, know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them, even unto the greatest of them, said the Lord. I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. And our sin is not going to be brought up in the kingdom of heaven. All the sin we committed on this side is not going to be brought up in the kingdom of heaven. The Most High God is not going to remember the sins of Israel anymore, man. Right? He's going to forgive us for all our iniquity, right? And we're going to have the law in our inward parts, so we're never going to sin again. And that's why there's going to be no more death. Right? Let's get this in Hebrews 8. Right? I'm going to bring it out. It's Hebrews 8 and verse 10. It says, for this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts. And I will be unto them a God, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. Right? So it's the same thing, man. Right? It's the same thing, just repeated in the book of Hebrews, man. Right? So all of us are going to know the Lord in the kingdom of heaven. We're not going to have anybody teach. We're not going to need anybody to teach us the law. Right? You kind of make a mistake and damn eat pork. Hey, brother, why you eating that pork? Right? And the brother kind of opening up the scriptures. That's not going to be happening in the kingdom of heaven. You're going to know all of the laws. Then when you have a child, as their birth, they're going to have the law in their inward parts, man. You're not going to have to teach your child the laws, man. That's mighty. That's the new bodies we're going to have. You understand that the law is going to be imputed into our hearts, man. Right? And that's something that's hard to fathom as well, man. It's hard to fathom the fact that we're going to know the law perfectly, man. Right? And we're going to know the scriptures perfectly. We're going to know the doctrine of the Lord perfectly. And we're going to have perfect understanding of the doctrine. Right? Let's bring this out. In Revelation 22 and verse 1. And it reads, And he showed me a pure river of water of life. And we understand the water represents the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The water represents the word, right? So when it says, and he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal. When it says clear as a crystal, it's speaking about the doctrine being perfect and purified. You understand? Right now, we see through a glass darkly. We don't have really full understanding of the Most High or full understanding of the Lord. But in this day, we're gonna know the Most High God. I mean, Salaki, I should say, we're gonna know Yahweh Shai as much as we know ourselves, man. Right? And we can read about that in 1 Corinthians, I believe it's 13, verse 11 on down. Right? And it says, and he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as a crystal, proceeding out of the throne of the Most High and of the Lamb. Right? That's all I wanted on that. Matter of fact, I'm going to read on. It says, in the midst of the Salakia. It says, in the midst of the street of it, and on the side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits. Right? And it says, and yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. Right? So even the nations, these different heathen nations are going to be healed in the kingdom of heaven. Why? Because right now they're wicked as hell. Right now, these different nations are off as hell. But in the kingdom of heaven, they're going to be keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. They're going to be taught how to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? And that's going to heal them because the law, statutes, and commandments are life, man. Right? So the heathen are going to be healed in the kingdom of heaven. You understand? And the heathen are going to rejoice. That's what the Lord said. Right? I want to kind of make sure I ain't got that written down anywhere. All right, Khan, it's not on there, so I'm going to go to it right now. Right? Because that's what the Lord said. Right? Just in case a brother can't kind of really grasp that. Brother might be thinking, what is he talking about? The heathen are going to be slaves. They're going to be getting whipped every day. We're going to be hitting the heathen in the head with big rocks. That's not what's going to be happening in the kingdom of heaven, brother. Right? The kingdom of Salakia. I want to clarify this. There are going to be servants. They are going to be in captivity. But we're not going to be unrighteous judges. You understand? We're not going to be unrighteous judges in the kingdom of heaven. We're not going to just wake up in the morning, I ain't mad, and you didn't call a damn Moabite and you just hit him in the head with a rock and kill him, man, and kind of bury him like nothing happened. That's not going to be happening, man. We're going to be righteously judging the earth, man. We're not going to be like Esau, this wicked in their wicked kingdom, man. Right? We're not going to be unrighteous judges, man. Let's bring this out. This Proverbs 29 and verse 2, and it says, when the righteous are in authority, meaning when Israel is back in authority, the people rejoice. The nations on this earth are going to rejoice. The people are going to rejoice when Israel is in authority because the world is going to be at peace. You understand? Right? And the world is going to be ruled in righteousness and in truth. Right? We're not going to be unrighteous damn judges, man. We're not going to just be waking up, hitting the Edomite in the back of the head with a rod because we want to, man. Right? But if they buck up, you can beat them with the rod, man. You're not going to just be waking up and your servant is doing everything that you're telling them to do and you just say, man, I just want to hit you anyway. That's not going to be in our hearts, man. Right? You have to brothers have to understand that, right? And it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And that's why all these different nations, the whole world, I should say, the inhabitants of the earth are in mourning because the wicked is in rule, man. Right? That's why you constantly see people in mourning, right? So understand that, man. Right? Everybody is going to rejoice when the Israelites are in rulership, right? Brothers have to understand that. Right, so where's we at? Right, I want to read that again. In verse 2 of Revelation 22, it says, in the midst of the street of it, and on the other side of the river, was the tree of life, which bare 12 manners of fruits. Right, so we're going to eat the fruits of that tree. Right, we're going to have everlasting life. Right, that's what that's going into. And it says, and yielded her fruit every month, and the leaves of the tree were for the healings of the nations, and the nations are only going to get the leaves of the tree. They're not going to partake in the fruits of the kingdom of heaven. They're just going to get the leaves, right? They're going to get the basis. They're going to get the law, statutes, and commandments, man, right? They're going to be able to come and keep the feast of Salakia, keep the Feast of Tabernacles. You understand? Right? They're going to be able to keep certain feast days. They're going to be able to keep the laws, right? And that's going to heal them. You understand? Because right now, you damn got Moabites. They damn eating all matter of toxic foods, man. They're eating all matters of unclean foods. But in the kingdom of heaven, they're going to be healed. Because why? They're not going to eat unclean foods. They're not going to be in all matters of wickedness. You understand? And the world is going to rejoice in that day. Right? Let's go to Isaiah 2 to kind of expound on that. right? This is Isaiah 2 in verse number, I'm going to start from the top. It says, the word that Isaiah, the son of Moses, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, right? Meaning the kingdom of Israel is going to be, so like I should just say Israel is going to be established on the top of these other nations, meaning we're going to be in rulership. We're going to be the rulers of the world. And it says, it shall be exalted above the hills, right? Exalted above these other nations. And all nations shall flow into it. So all these nations are going to flow into Jerusalem. Salaki, and it says, and many people shall go and say, come ye and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord. Right? All these different nations are going to say, let us come unto Jerusalem, to the house of the Most High God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways. And we're going to teach the nations of the ways of the Lord. We're going to teach the nations the law, statutes, and commandments. This is the nations being healed by the leaves of the tree of life. Right? And it says, and we will walk in his paths, for out of Zion shall go forth the law, right? And the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. You see that? So these different nations, they're going to dwell in peace as well in the kingdom of heaven, right? And it says, and they're going to learn the law of the Lord, right? They're just going to be below us. You understand? They're going to be in captivity. Like how we're below these nations in their kingdom, they're going to be below us. They're going to be our servants. You understand? And it says, and he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, right? Meaning there's going to be no more war. Well, it's going to break down itself. It says, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. There's not going to be war in the kingdom of heaven. And it says, O house of Jacob, come ye and let us walk in the light of the Lord. Right? So the point is, these different nations, they're going to come to Jerusalem and worship. You understand? They're going to come to Jerusalem and learn the laws of the Most High. You understand? Right? Let's go to Revelation 13. Right? But they are going to be in captivity, man. Let's get the classic. These other nations are going into captivity. Right? So this Revelation 13 and verse 9, a classic precept. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. That's plain. Right? If you let the Israelites into captivity, you're going to go into captivity. And it says, and he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. If you kill with the sword, you're going to be killed with the sword. And that's what's coming to these heathen in the last days as well. When Yahushua returns, he's going to kill he's going to kill the wicked of these different nations with the sword, man. You understand? These different wicked nations, they're going to be destroyed by Yahushua, man. And it says, here is the patience and the faith of the saints, man. You understand? So that's a classic precept, and that's plain. Let's get another classic precept in Isaiah 14. Right? Just to make this plain that these other nations in the kingdom of heaven are going to be in servitude. You understand? They're going to be in captivity. They're going to be in slavery to the Israelites, man. Right? And that's the Holy Bible. Right? So this is something to look forward to in the kingdom. You understand? This is a beautiful thing, man. Imagine waking up and not having to lift a damn finger, man. Imagine waking up and you got a damn slave in your house and you telling them everything you need done, man. Right? That's a beautiful thing, man. That's something else that you can't really fathom. When you think about slavery, you think about your own people being in captivity. You think about your own people being in slavery. You can't even really fathom having your own slaves and then seeing your own people that look like you having these different nations in captivity. That's something that's hard for our carnal mind to fathom. But that's at the Holy Bible, and it's going to come to pass, man. Right? Because the words of the Lord will not return unto him void, man. Right? Let's get that real fast through the Spirit. And that's the Spirit, right? That's the Spirit. We jump right to the page. Right? So the Lord said, bring this out. Right, so this is Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 11, and it reads, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it, man. Right, so the word of the Lord will not return unto him void. The Lord said these different nations are going into captivity. They're going into captivity, man. That's said the Lord, man. Right, we can't wait for that day, man. We can't wait to be able to wake up and then tell these heathen what to do, man. Watch these heathen build up the kingdom of heaven. Watch these heathen kind of dig in the earth and get these different precious metals that the Lord said the kingdom of heaven is going to be built upon, man. Right? Let's get another precept dealing with that. Right? So the word of the Lord is going to last forever, man. Right? And all his words is going to come to pass, man. We constantly see the words of the Lord coming to pass day by day. Right? So this is Isaiah 40 and 8. It says, the grass withereth, The flower fadeth, but the word of our God shall stand forever. The word of the Most High is going to stand forever, man. And every single word that you read about in the scriptures, every prophecy, right, they're going to come to pass, man. Right? But let's go back to Isaiah. Where's we at? 14, the classic, right? I'm going to read again from the top. Salaki, I ain't even start reading it. We're going to bring it out. It says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel, right? And set them in their own land. We're going to be set in our own land, Jerusalem. And the strangers, meaning the other nations, the so-called white man, the so-called damn Chinese man, the so-called Japanese man, all these different nations that are not of the 12 tribes are the strangers. It says, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And these different nations, they're going to cleave to Israel, man. Right? They're going to be begging to be taught the law. They're going to cleave. We're going to read about that, Zechariah, a little later as well. It says, and the people shall take them, and we're going to take them, man, and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them. We're going to possess the heathen. You understand? They're going to be our possession, right? And it says, them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives. And we're going to take them captive, right? Just like we're their captives right now. And they took us captive to a land that we know not, right? They brought us to America. They took us to Puerto Rico, to Jamaica, Slovakia, right? All these different nations. And it says, and they shall take them captives who captures their word, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And we're going to rule over our oppressors, man. Right? That's plain. We're going to rule over our oppressors. Let's get this in Leviticus chapter 25. And this goes back to the law. This is how it was supposed to be since the foundation of the earth. Right? This is Leviticus 25. Check this out. In verse 44. This is the book of Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 44. And it reads, both thy bondmen, right, our slave men, and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen. That's what the Lord said in the law. Right? The Lord said our slave men and our slave women are supposed to be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall you buy bondmen and bondmaids. And we're supposed to be able to sell them and buy them, man. Right? And it says, moreover, the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession. They were always supposed to be our possession since the foundation of the earth. This is not anything new that's going to be happening in the kingdom of heaven. This is how it's supposed to be since the beginning of days. When you read about it in Kings and Chronicles, hey, King David had servants. You actually read about King David having Edomite servants, man. Right? And that's coming back in the latter days. Right? So verse 46, it says, and you shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you. Right? And we're gonna pass these slaves down to our children. Right? That's the type of possession we're going to have of the nations. And it says, to inherit them for possession, they shall be your bondmen forever. Right? Forever. Right? And it says, but over your brethren, the children of Israel, you shall not rule one over another, one over another with rigor. Right? So these heathen nations, we can have them in slavery. We can pass them down to our children. But it's not the same with our brothers and sisters. You understand? Right, and that's thus said the Holy Bible, man. Right, and these same captives, these same nations, they're going to build the kingdom of heaven. Right? They're going to literally build the kingdom of heaven. Right, how our forefathers built this nation, how our forefathers built up ancient Egypt. Hey, these nations are going to build the kingdom of heaven. Right, let's bring this out in Isaiah 60 and verse 10. Right? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 60 and verse 10, and it reads, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls. Right? That's plain. Like we read about, the strangers is the heathen. So it says, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. Right? Meaning they're the kings, the so-called kings of this earth. Right? They're going to minister unto the saints. And it says, for in my wrath have I smote thee, right? But in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, right? And they shall not be shut day or night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, right? And the Gentiles, these different nations, going to be bringing in their riches. You understand? Their spoils into Jerusalem. And it says, and that their kings may be brought, right? For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly destroyed. So those who refuse to serve Israel, who refuse to serve Yahushua, right? They're gonna perish. They're gonna be destroyed. So anybody who bucks up against the rulership of Israel, they're gonna be destroyed, man. That's thus of the Lord, right? So they're gonna literally build the kingdom of heaven, right? Let's get this in 1 Kings. Get this in 1 Kings 5 and verse 15, because this happened in the time of in King Solomon's kingdom, right? We can read about it. Salaki, bear with me. It's the book of 1 Kings, chapter 5 and verse 15. Right? And it reads, and Solomon had 70,000 that bear burdens. Right? And it says, so Solomon had 60,000. Right? So it says he had 70,000 that bear burdens. Right? Salaki, 10,060. And it says, and 70,000 hewers in the mountains. Right? So 80,000 hewers in the mountains, beside the chief of Solomon's officers, which were over the work, 3,300, which ruled over the people that wrought in the work. So Solomon had taskmasters, right, of Israel that were ruling over these nations that were wrought in the work. And it says, and the king commanded that they brought great stones, costly stones, and hewn stones to lay the foundation of the house. That's the same thing that's going to happen in the kingdom of heaven. Right? These different nations are going to have to hew up these different stones, these costly stones, to build the foundation of the kingdom of heaven. Right? And it says, and Solomon's builders and Hiram's builders did hew them in the stone squares, so they prepared timber and stones to build the house, man. Right? So Solomon already experienced this, man. He had these different nations building up the temple of the Lord, man. Right? And that's what's going to happen in the last days as well. Let's get another account in 1 Kings 19 and 19. Right? And it reads, this 1 Kings chapter 19 and verse 19, it reads, and all the cities of the store that Solomon had, and the cities of his chariots, and the cities for his horsemen, and that which Solomon desired to build in Jerusalem and in Lebanon, and in all the land of his dominion, and all the people that were left of the Hey, that's heavy, man. Let me read that again. Hold on, man. Let's can't rush over that, man. It says, in all the cities of store that Solomon had, and cities for his chariots. So Solomon had specific cities just to bear his chariots, man. And it says, and cities for his horsemen. He had cities just for his horsemen. And it says, and that was Solomon desired to build in Jerusalem and in Lebanon and in all the land of his dominion. And all the people that were left of the Amorites, right? So this is talking about the these different Hamite nations. The Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, which are all Hamites, and Jebusites, which were not of the children of Israel. It says, their children that were left after them in the land, whom the children of Israel also were not able to utterly destroy, upon those did Solomon levy a tribute of bondservant unto this day. So Solomon had these different Hamites, these different damn heathen, as his servants, man. Right? And reading on, it says, but of the children of Israel did Solomon make no bondmen. So Solomon didn't make any of the Israelites his bondmen. It was all these heathen nations. So Solomon, if you want to read about how the kingdom of heaven is going to be, you have to read about the kingdom of Solomon. You understand? So you can get a glimpse of what the kingdom of heaven is going to be like. And it says, but of the children of Israel did Solomon make no kingdom, Salaki, and no bondmen, but they were men of war, and his servants, and his princes, and his captains, and rulers of his chariots, and his horsemen. Right? These were the chief of the officers that were over Solomon's work. 550 was bear rule over the people that wrought in the work. And Solomon had the Israelites bearing rule over the heathen, man, that wrought over the work. So pretty much being their taskmasters, man. Right? How mighty is that, man? How beautiful is that, man? Right? But this is where we come from. We come from royalty, man. We come from rulership, man. Right? We come from great men. We come from a great kingdom. You understand? We come from a great people, right? All ordained by a great God, man. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, man. Right? Let's get that. Let's go to Tobit, right? Chapter 13 and verse 15. Because I want to kind of touch on what I was going into about them hewing up the stones. They're going to literally have to hew up these stones. When the Lord said the kingdom of heaven is going to be founded on all these beautiful precious stones like onyx, chrysolite, gold, right, and so on and so forth. Hey, the heathen going to literally have to dig up the earth and get these stones, man. The Lord not going to just drop it from the earth and say, here you go, heathen. They're going to have to go get these stones, man. Right? And what I just call Salaki, Tobit, the book of Tobit. Right? And we want chapter 13. and verse number 15. It says, let my soul bless the Most High, the great King, for Jerusalem shall be built up with sapphires and emeralds and precious stone. You see that? Right? In the same way we read about how the King Solomon had these damn heathen hewing up the earth to get these stones. How you think they're going to do it in the last days? They're going to be doing the same thing. And it says, thy walls and towers and battlements with pure gold. And the walls of Jerusalem going to be built with pure gold, man. Right? And it says, in the streets of Jerusalem shall be paved with beryl and carbuncle and stones of Ophir, man. Right? And it says, and all her streets shall say, hallelujah. And they shall praise him, saying, blessed be the Most High, which have extolled it forever, man. Right? And, hey, we're going to be saying hallelujah in that day, man. You understand? We're going to be saying, blessed be the Most High, man, because we're going to have a beautiful kingdom. Right? Imagine the walls of Jerusalem being built with pure gold. Hey, this is 14 carats of gold, right? This is nowhere near close to pure gold. You understand? It's just 14 carats. Imagine what pure gold looks like, man. We never seen pure gold with our carnal eyes, man. Right? We never seen pure gold at all, man. You understand? We get this little weak 14 carats and 18 carats and 10 carats, 24 carats, but we never seen pure gold, man. Right? Fresh out of the earth. You understand? But that's what the walls of Jerusalem is going to be made out of. Right? In the streets with the precious gold of Ophir. You understand? And that's a beautiful thing. Right? And I'm going to touch a little bit more on what I was saying, that the nations are going to come to Jerusalem. And the nations are going to keep the law. The nations are going to keep certain feast days, like the Feast of Tabernacles. And that's written directly in the scriptures. Right? We're going to bring that out in Zechariah 14. Right? Zechariah 14 and verse 16. Bear with me. Right? So this is the thing. We have to meditate on this thing, man. Right? So this is Zechariah 14 and verse 16. It says, and it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the king. Right? Right? And the king, worship the king, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So the nations are going to keep the Feast of Tabernacle. That's thus saith the Lord. Right? And it says, and it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the king, right, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. So the Lord is going to utterly destroy those who don't come up and keep the Feast of Tabernacles, who don't come up year by year to keep the feast, right? It says it's going to be no rain, right? Meaning they're going to have a famine, right? And they're going to be destroyed by that famine. They're going to be put to death, right? And it says, and so the heathen are going to still die, right? We're going to be the only ones that's not going to die anymore, because we're going to be the ones with the law in our heart, right? They're going to still sin, meaning they're going to still die. You understand? And it says in verse 18, and if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, that have no rain, it says, there shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of the Tabernacles. And the Lord is going to plague these different nations that don't come up and keep this feast. And it says, this shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So these nations are going to be punished for not keeping the laws of the Most High, man. That's thus saith the Lord. Right? So they're going to be expected to keep the law in the kingdom of heaven. Right? And a lot of them will. Right? But you're going to have heathen as well that's going to rebel. And the Lord said they're going to be perished. Right? They're going to be killed. Right? And Salakia, let's go to Zechariah 8 and verse 20. Right? So this is the book of Zechariah, chapter 8 and verse 20. And it reads, thus saith the Lord of hosts, it shall yet come to pass that there shall come people and the inhabitants of many cities, speaking about the heathen again. And the inhabitants of one city shall go to another, saying, let us go speedily to pray before the Lord. Right? And these different nations, they're going to say, let us go speedily to pray before the Lord. And to seek the Lord of hosts, I will go also. Yea, many people and strong nations shall come to seek the Lord of hosts in Jerusalem and to pray before the Lord. So all these nations, they're going to come before the Lord in Jerusalem to pray. You understand? To worship. And it says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, right? Even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, right? And it says, saying, we shall go with you, for we have heard that God is with you. And these different nations, they're going to cleave unto the men of the Lord. They're going to cleave unto the saints, man. Right? It says they're going to take hold of the skirt of him. They're going to kind of grab him by his fringes and say, hey, can I come with you, man? right? I heard the Lord is with you. And that's what's happening in these last days. These other nations, they try to cleave, man. Right? But in the kingdom of heaven, they're going to come to Jerusalem and worship. They're going to come to Jerusalem to pray. They're going to come to Jerusalem to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. You understand? That's at the Holy Bible. Right? So these nations, they're going to be taught the law. They're going to be given the law of the Most High in his last days. Right? Let's go to Isaiah to the 60 and verse 22. And I believe I touched on this and at the beginning of the lesson, dealing with the fact that we're going to have multiple children. But I want to read it again. Right? That we're going to be fruitful in the kingdom of heaven. So this is Isaiah 60 and verse 22. Right? And it says, okay, I didn't read this one, Salakia. But it says, a little one shall become 1,000. That's plain. So one child is going to become 1,000, meaning he's going to have a fruitful, one child is going to become a nation of himself. Just like how, for example, what am I thinking about? How certain men, had nations come out of them, right? So I believe you have like the Gideonites, right? Which was just an Israelite, but he had a nation that came out of him. You had the Kenites, you understand, which came out of a man. I forgot the name of him, but he's an Israelite. You understand? And you read about that in Judges, where Caleb is called a Kenite, right? But it's really just calling him by the name of his father. You understand? But I'm gonna read this again. It says, "A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a great nation, a strong nation." Right? And it says, "I, the Lord, will hasten it in His time." Right? So one man is going to become 1,000 in that day. Right? So let's bring this out in Jeremiah 30. And when you read Jeremiah 30, I believe 31 and also verse 32, it goes into the kingdom of heaven. Right? Specifically 30 and 31. Right? So I want to bring this out in Jeremiah 30 and verse 19. Right? And it reads, "And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry. And I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small." And I read that already, but I wanted to touch on it again just to really elaborate on the point that we're going to be multiplied greatly in the kingdom of heaven. Right? And that was the law given to us in Genesis chapter 9, I believe it's verse 2. It might be verse 1. Right? Be fruitful and multiply. You understand? And that's what we're going to be doing in the kingdom of heaven. Right? A lot of people think it's not going to be sex in the kingdom of heaven. That's what Christianity would tell you. It's going to be no sex in the kingdom of heaven. Right? They think that's what Yahweh Shai was speaking about. Right? And I believe it's Matthew 21 or 22. Right? But that's not what the Lord was saying. You understand? Right? But I'm not going to go into that. Right? But we just read it. How we're going to, in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to be multiplied. You understand? One is going to become 1,000. Right? And that's through reproduction. That's through sex, man. You understand? Right? So let's go to Zechariah 8. Right? So we're going to have a multitude of children in the kingdom of heaven. Let's go back to Zechariah 8. Right? And I love this precept right here, man. It's something to kind of meditate on. You understand? It's a beautiful precept. Right? It's Zechariah 8 and verse 5, and it reads, "And the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the streets thereof." Man, that's beautiful to me, man. I love that precept. Right? Hey, my mother, my sisters, they would tell me I'm overprotective. Right? They kind of let my nieces and nephews go outside, and I say, yo, why ain't nobody watching them, man? Right? You got gunshots, you got the nasty so-called white men snatching up kids in these last days. Stop letting them go outside by themselves, man. You understand? And they would tell me I'm being overprotective, man. Hey, but that's the world we live in. You understand? We have to really watch over our children. We have to make sure everything is good, man. It's hard to even let little kids play outside nowadays. You understand? But in the kingdom of heaven, we're not going to have to worry about that, man. Right? We're going to be able to allow our children to go outside and play, man, and have a beautiful time. It's going to be joy in the streets, man. Laughter, right? Our people making merry in the streets of Jerusalem, man. That's a beautiful thing. I'm going to read that again. It says, "And the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the streets thereof." And they're going to be able to play without having to worry about a so-called nasty white man damn coming up and trying to throw them into the back of their van, man. Right? Or a damn stray bullet hitting them, man. You know how many little kids get killed by stray bullets, man? Right? And in the kingdom of heaven, we're not going to have to worry about that, man. That's a beautiful thing. Right? So we're going to have peace in the kingdom. Right? So this Genesis, Salaki, this is Ezekiel 35. And Salakia. This is Ezekiel 34 and verse 23, and it reads, "I will set up one shepherd over them." Speaking about Yahushua, right? And it says, "And he shall feed them, even my servant David," right? Because Yahushua comes from the lineage of David, the seed of David. And he shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd. And Yahweh Shai is the chief shepherd. You understand? And it says, and I, the Lord, will be their God, and my servant David, a prince among them. I, the Lord, have spoken it. And I will make with them a covenant of peace. Right? So it's going to be peace in the kingdom of heaven. Everlasting peace. And will cause the evil beast to cease out of the land. Right? And that's twofold. Right? Because we're not going to have literal, actual beasts is not going to be killing man in that day. Right? But also beasts is like, men is likened unto beasts. Men without knowledge is likened unto beasts. The so-called white man will be a beast. You understand? Wicked Jake will be a beast. All these different nations will be beasts. Right? So when the Lord said, and I will cause the evil beast to cease out of the land, that's what he's speaking about. And they shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods. Right? So that's twofold. Right? So there's going to be peace in the kingdom. Let's get that in Hosea 2. In verse 18. Right? So, hey, the kingdom of heaven is beautiful, man. And this is what we're striving for. This is what we give everything up for, man. Right? This is why we strive to walk in that new man. Right? That's why we strive to walk in the newness of the spirit. And to constantly be renewed daily in the spirit, man. To inherit the kingdom of heaven. Because we understand you have to be reborn to inherit the kingdom of heaven. You have to be born again in the spirit, man. Right? So this Hosea 2 and verse 18, and it reads, and in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, and with the creeping things of the ground. Like I said, that's twofold. It's talking about literal beasts. You're not going to have to worry about a lion attacking you, but also men are likened unto beasts, man. We're not going to be going to war in that day, right? These different nations are not going to be able to grab us up and take us to damn America again, man. Right? And it says, and I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth. So it's going to be no war in the kingdom of heaven. And we'll make them to lie down safely, man. And we're going to lie down safely in that day, man. Right? We're going to dwell in peace, man. We're going to finally be at peace, man. You're not going to wake up and be like, man, I got to call. I'm late for work, right? Let me hurry up and call them and tell them I'm going to be late, right? My son just got shot in the middle of the street in cold blood by a cop, right? You're not going to have to worry about that in the kingdom of heaven. You're going to literally be at peace. You're not going to have any worry, any stress in the back of your mind, man. You can't fathom these things. Waking up with no stress, waking up with no worries, right? Waking up with a peaceful mind every day, man, right? And the Lord tells us that in Isaiah 26 and verse 3, thou will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. And our mind is going to constantly be on the law of the Lord. Our mind is going to constantly be on the Lord because the law is going to be in our hearts, man. So we're going to be at perfect peace, right? So it's beautiful how the scriptures all come together. Let's go to Psalms chapter 122, right? And this whole chapter is good. We're going to break out this whole chapter, right? It's 9 verses, right? So this Psalm chapter 122 and verse 1, and it reads, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. Our feet shall stand within thy gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem is builded as a city that is compact together. Whether the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, speaking about the 12 tribes of Israel, it says, unto the testimony of Israel, to give thanks unto the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, for there are set thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem, right? They shall prosper that love thee. Peace be within thy walls. There's going to be peace in Jerusalem in that day, and prosperity within thy palaces. For my brethren and companions' sakes, I will now say, peace be within thee. Right? In that day, it's going to be peace within Jerusalem. Because of the house of the Lord, our God, I will seek thy good, man. Right? Hey, and that's these the beautiful things of the kingdom of heaven, man. We're going to have everlasting peace, everlasting joy, everlasting salvation. We're going to live in an everlasting kingdom, man. Right? We're going to live forever, man. We're going to be immortal, man. Right? We're not going to have to imagine and have the fears of death on our mind. Right? Let's get Ecclesiastes 2, man. Right? And we're going to be rich in the kingdom of heaven, man. Right? A lot of brothers want to be rich in this kingdom. I will sell my soul for that record deal. If I could, I would drink blood to get that record deal like Jay-Z. I would do this. I would do that to get rich in this kingdom. Brothers be ready to sell it all, man. Right? But hey, we store up our treasures in the kingdom of heaven. Let's bring this out in Ecclesiastes. Right? That's why I said if you want to like kind of get a glimpse of the kingdom of heaven, you have to read about King Solomon. Because his kingdom was like a foreshadowing of the kingdom of heaven. Right? So let's bring this out in Ecclesiastes and read about the riches of King Solomon. Right? It's Ecclesiastes 2 and verse 4. And it's I'm gonna start from 4. It says, I made me great works, I builded me houses, I planted me vineyards. Right? I made me gardens and orchards, and I planted trees in them of all kinds of fruits. I made pools of water to water therewith the wood that bringeth forth trees. I got me servants and maidens, you see that? and had servants born in my house. So King Solomon said, I had servants born in my house. How much more us in the kingdom of heaven? Lord willing, we're part of that number. And it says, also I had great possessions of great and small cattle above all that were in Jerusalem before me. And that's true. That's true riches, right? And I'm going to read on and I'm going to get a precept real fast. It says, I gathered me also silver and gold and the peculiar treasure of kings and of provinces. I got me men singers and women singers. So he had singers. You understand? King Solomon had singers, man. Right? If he wanted a song sung to him, he had singers to do that, man. Right? And it says, and the delights of the son of men as musical instruments and that of all sorts. And I'm going to get a quick precept to show that's what true riches is. You understand? Having servants, having cattle, having gold. That's true riches. This damn paper money is not true riches. Right? So this Genesis 13 and verse 2. And it reads, and Abraham was very rich. And what was he rich in? Right? It says, and cattle and silver and in gold. That's true riches. Cattle, silver, and gold. That's true riches, man. Right? But going back to Ecclesiastes 2, in verse 9, it says, so I was great and increased more than all that were with me. Shalaki. It says, so I was great and increased more than all that were before me in Jerusalem. Also, my wisdom remained with me. And we're going to be great and increase more than all those that were before us in Jerusalem in the kingdom of heaven. Right? Lord willing, we're part of that number. Because the elect are going to be here with Yahushua. Right? Meaning they're going to inherit the things Yahushua inherit. And it says, also my wisdom remained with me. Right? And it says, and whatsoever my eyes desired, I kept not from them. So he had anything his eyes desire in his kingdom. And it says, and I withheld not my heart from any joy, for my heart rejoiced in all my labor. And this was the portion of all my labor, man. And right, and that's going to be the portion of our labor, man. Right? All the labor we do to magnify the ministry and to magnify the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, man. Right? We're going to be able to have anything our heart desire in the kingdom of heaven. Right? That's why you have to strive for this kingdom. And I'm going to get this, and I'm going to close out, right? So this Psalm 37 and verse 4, and it reads, I'm going to get another one after this, right? And it says, delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. So you're going to have the desires of your heart in the kingdom of heaven, man. Right? Delight yourself in the Lord. He's going to give you the desires of your heart. You're going to have anything your heart desires in the kingdom of heaven. Right? Imagine that. Everything that your heart desires, man. Right? You're going to have that in the kingdom of heaven. Right? Everything that you covet after, you understand? Right? In righteousness, right? You don't want to covet after what another man has or what another woman has, right? But hey, you have desires, you have things that you desire after, you understand? Right? Everything that you desire, right? The Lord is going to give you that in the kingdom of heaven, man. You understand? I'm going to get one more and I'm going to close out, man. Right? So we have to endure unto the end, man. Right? Because that's the only way we're going to see the kingdom. You understand? Right? We read about that in Matthew 24 and verse 13. He that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. Right? So I want to bring this out in Revelation 22 and verse 12. And it reads, and this is red letter. It says, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be, man. That's plain. Yahushua said he's coming quickly, man. Right? The kingdom of heaven is going to be here quickly, man. And Yahushua is going to reward every man according as his work shall be. So do all that you could to magnify the name of the Lord. And be willing to give up everything in this world if you really want the kingdom of heaven, man. Right? So with that, I want to give a mighty shalom to the brothers and sisters that tuned in. And Lord willing, this was edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Continue to read, continue to fast, continue to study, continue to pray, continue to do all that you can do to magnify the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. You understand? And shalom, Yasha Allah.